the start of another week. President Trump is recommending that we get lots and lots of popcorn. Could be an interesting week, I think,
And make sure Rumble's working.
and make sure Rumble's working. Yeah,
The chats.
it is working. Oh, the chat. Okay. So I apologize for last night. I wasn't paying attention or something, but the Rumble channel didn't come through. So I wasn't able to broadcast on Rumble. I did broadcast on other channels, but it didn't come through on Rumble. Also, my microphone is now officially deceased. I believe I dropped it once, and I'm going to have to get another one. So forgive me for if the audio isn't as spectacular as usual. Things are the things that I'm seeing on the thought stream. Hey, Michael Double. The things that I'm seeing on the thought stream are horrific. It's ghoulish but necessary for people to understand what's been going on. However, I think back to the day that it was my audio sounds fine. Okay, good. Hey, pigs, how's it going? I think back to my first week as a school teacher in Brooklyn in Prospect Park. It was rough. It was really rough. I got a job teaching that. Thanks Prospect Fields. I got a job teaching math in Prospect Park, I think it was called, yeah. And the students were absolutely out of control. It was a junior high school. I later taught mostly high school. I had better luck with high school kids because you can reason with a more mature person. The junior high school kids were absolutely out of control. But that's not the thing I want to tell. And I've probably told this story before, but the third day of my teaching career, and it was a nightmare. The kids were absolutely, completely out of control, little kids. And they were just, I had no idea how to control a class. They don't teach you things like that in teaching school. They don't teach you, how do you control a class? I now know. I mean, the way I have traditionally controlled a class is to show up with a worksheet. That's my class control. Basically, if high school kids I can deal with because they understand to some degree, but in general, the only way I could control the junior high school kids, because yelling at them, they loved it. They loved it when I yelled at them. But I would have copious amounts of worksheets, and just to keep them from destroying me and each other. They were just, it was brutal. I don't know if anybody's ever seen, I don't know what it's like now. I can only imagine, but it was horrible. At any rate, my third day of school, I believe it was my third day. Remember, the second or third day, maybe the third day, when I was kind of coming to grasp with the idea that things were not, that education was not what it used to be. I really expected a kind of a classroom situation that I grew up with. You didn't disrespect your teachers in my day, at least not where I grew up. You just didn't do it. But these kids were completely out of control. On the third day, I think it was second or third day, but things were completely out of control, and I was not given a classroom. I was a kind of a wandering teacher, On the third day, third period, I remember this pretty well. Third period, I was up on the third floor in Park Slope, and all the children in my class, there were probably like 20 or 30, it was a big class, were lined up against the window as when I walked in, and they were all lined up against the window. And they said, "Mr. Weber, the World Trade Center's on fire." I I looked at them like, I thought to myself, you've tried everything. I mean, you guys are completely out of control, and now you're telling me the World Trade Center's on fire. It was just over the top. So I screamed at them. I said, "Just sit down." I made them sit down, and I've told this story before. There was one child in the class who refused to sit down, and he spent the whole period looking out the window. But okay, but that happened afterwards. In my opinion, he was never the same. I don't know what he saw, but I know what I saw, because when I went to the window to chase them away from the window, I looked out the window, and my mind could not comprehend what I was seeing. There were flame. All I saw was like flames that looked as though they were right below us. I mean, we were overlooking downtown Brooklyn, overlooking Manhattan, I suppose. We were not that far, but it looked very close. And my mind said to me, I don't know what I'm seeing, but I can't comprehend what I'm looking at. It doesn't make sense to me. And I turned away. I said, "Okay, look, I mean, I don't get it. I don't know what I see. It's like it made no sense to me. I mean, no sense. Not like it could be this, it could be that. It was just like, what is that?" I was just dumbfounded. There's a long theory, a oft repeated theory in mystic Yiddishkeit, where they talk about the difference between seeing and hearing. When you see something, you just you accept it. You accept it as, you don't understand it. You don't know what you're seeing. If you can't comprehend it, you can't comprehend it. Most of the things that we see visually make sense to us. But hearing is considered by in mystic in Chassidus, that hearing is considered to be a higher level. Why? Because when you hear something, you hear about something, or you you have to you have to put the pieces together yourself. You have to understand it. You have to understand it. You could see something and not understand it, but hearing implies that it is internalized, and the mind must make sense of it. So they say that hearing is a higher level, in that it requires understanding, whereas seeing does not. Like I said, there was one child in the classroom, and he just kept looking out the window, and I couldn't control him. And I don't think he was ever the same. He maybe he was able to understand what he saw. I could not. I mean, it just looked it was just like flames. I can remember it to this day, but it made it. There was no way there's no way I was able to comprehend it. And during the day, when people would say things like, "I think there was a terrorist attack," or that kind of thing, it didn't register to me. It didn't. There was no way to for me to comprehend what I saw. So I looked away. I did not look away. And just as a kind of a weird coincidence or divine providence that, and I know there are people who've heard this story before, but before I left for school that day, gosh, that was when my wife was very pregnant, and she was, anyway, I don't want to go into that aspect of it. But why do I bring this up today? Because what I'm seeing on X is makes me want to turn away. It is, yes, I know about Epstein. I know about pedophiles. I know about the satanic nature of the parasites. I understand that our world is a fabrication beyond fabrication. It's a control grid. But it seems to me that when I'm looking at X tonight, anyway, sometimes I usually find something a little more kind of redeeming, or kind of like the Zachary Fisher. I enjoy his posts, but I'm kind of like, he's very, it's interesting, but the level of carnage, the level of insanity, the level of uncovering, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, in the aspect that people need to understand, here, understand what is going on. It's very easy for people to say he's a conspiracy theorist. Why? I mean, I remember telling a person I had a lot of interactions, something like a close friend in Crown Heights, about adrenochrome, and he just laughed in my face. But now the information seems to be pouring out, and for me, it kind of feels like this is not the time to really be looking for information from that kind of a source. Like, it's time to look away. It's really, for me anyway. I don't know about you guys, but it's time to look away. Danielle has added some sort of chemical to my coffee today that has to be consumed within a half hour. For so I don't know exactly what it is. She's always giving me stuff. I'm taking it in small doses. I refuse to listen to all the details. I think that Chris, I think that seems wise. I cried like a baby when Challenger blew up. Now I know it never happened. Interesting. I was on X for a very short time and I got off. I did not like it at all. So many men hitting on me, even when I told them I'm taken and not interested. On X, that's interesting. Um, hey, yeah. So the creators and observers, those who know and those who don't. Right. So those who don't know, they need to go through this. You and I, we've been going through this for 5, 10 years. We've been inundated. We've been studying it. We've been going out of our way to find out about all these things. I saw a post today. This is kind of interesting about the trillions of dollars spent on underground cities for the elites, for the parasites, for the blood sucking worms that run the world. I saw a thing about the vril. You know, the vril is that um, reptile they put into your eyes. That's part of the Black Eye Club. This stuff is gruesome beyond gruesome. XRP, thanks for always covering XRP QFS Jasara. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's. I mean, crypto is going up a bit. I no longer feel, you know, I no longer feel excited by the fact of that very soon we will have everything we need. I look forward to not having to fight with, to fight, or for Danielle and I, it's because of the money situation. We have to we go through little discussions about, do we really need that now? Can we afford it? Can we wait? This kind of thing. I mean, I look forward to living in a life where if I need something, I can just go out and get it. But we're pretty much there anyway. There's not that much that we lack. But yes, the cryptos are turning around a bit. I think that we will never have to worry about not having everything that we need all the time. I think that's definitely coming, and so I appreciate you saying about Jasara. I mean, and I do believe that we are coming into Jasara, and that's why another reason why I push the Republic so hard, because they were the people in the know were told that when the Republic is established, we will announce the elections. You will be the interim government, and we'll go into Jasara. We'll go into the quantum financial system. We'll go into a gold backed currency with Judy Shelton. Will be the. I don't think they're going to have a Fed. I mean, why would they have a Fed? Period. She should just be head of the whatever monetary issues. Local governments. They're really going to be. I think the government is going to be more. Yeah, but it's not such a drip, drip, drip now. Michael Double. I mean, it seems like pretty much of a flood. I mean, it doesn't seem like. Well, let's piece together the posts to try to figure out what's going on today. It's like, I mean, I'm not into the intrigue of wanting to know if Pam Bondi is. I believe that Pam Bondi is part of the movie, and she's just doing what is best for waking up a certain segment of the population that is brain dead. They're just they've been so brainwashed. I think that the conclusion that we can come to at this point, for those of us who have been following this thought stream for years, is that we have to keep moving on. That we can't be like Lot's wife, and we can't just spend all our time looking back. It's time to morph into a new energetic entity. Peppermint Patty, hey, just another, yeah, hit the like button. Thanks, Wade. Um, Mouse parade studies were a disaster for mouse society. Mouse paradise. Yeah, I know there is that aspect. There is that aspect, and I've also I have a big story about being at a men's gathering and declaring that we're all in paradise and everything is good in this moment, and then within several moments, a fist fight broke out. People are not used to having everything they need. I know there's a mouse experiment as well, but people are it's not so easy. So in terms of my own way of handling these kinds of things, like when I was in a very difficult relationship, I decided to get a degree in becoming an educational administrator, which was a nightmare. The people in the class were all libtards, and they attacked me mercilessly. The professors had to say, leave Ellie alone. They were just they couldn't get enough of because I have this consciousness. I had this we're talking about 5 or 10 years ago. I knew about all this stuff, so I was. We have to keep moving on, and we have to be engaged. We have to engage the world. We have to create, in my opinion, we all know about. I think I did a pretty extensive thing last night about the republic. We should be we should be building the new world. We must build a new world. We don't want to look back. We want to come into the promised land. For me, that involves working on the land. I mean, and it's not for everyone. Listen, I spent 20 years in construction, so I have a background in construction, and it is something that brings me un, unparalleled delight to be busy with my hands, to be able to use my mind and my hands together, and to live in an inspired state of creation. I don't know anything that's as powerful and wonderful as that. And I don't engage in it in a logical manner. I don't say, okay, today I'm going to do this. I do, but and here's something that I also wanted to just mention for all of the you that are on this pathway. I and I mentioned this before, but I like to spend, when I first go outside to do, when I have a day to do work. Like today, I had a day. I had a lot of time to do work, and it was so much fun. But before I engage in work, I do a kind of a meditation. I mean, I don't think of it as a meditation, but I basically just kind of like walk around, and I think to myself, what needs to get done today? I don't even think that. I just look around me, and I just walk around. I look up at the rafters at someday there's going to be a roof up there. I looked at the bathroom. I looked at the garden, and usually it comes to me in a kind of a flash, like a flash of light in the dark, what what things must be accomplished in the day. It's almost as if I'm not thinking about it. It just I'm it's suddenly it's I'm asking the universe, what do you want me to do today? And the universe responds. So even though I really wanted to work on the second floor today and put up rafters, I'm up to rafters on the second floor, which is huge. It means that the building is becoming somewhat enclosed, or it's going to be enclosed soon. I thought that to myself. I looked around. I looked at the view. I probably had a slug of coffee and other things that I have in the morning. We generally fast. We don't eat a meal until I didn't eat. I had my fruit salad at about 12 o'clock. So I usually fast while during the morning hours, and it was windy, and so I wasn't sure if it's always an issue up here when there's a lot of clouds. Will we be able to have enough energy? And actually, I took out my saw at one point, and I jammed this saw a little bit, and it blew out all the energy in the RV. And Danielle said everything just stopped. She says I got to reset it. But even though, like I said, I don't think of these things in a logical order. I don't. I approach it as just a kind of a meditation. The next thing I knew, I was I was constructing. I was completing a section of the bathroom. We had put these heavy rocks, these flat rocks that lead up to the throne of glory where we do our thing. And Daniela likes to have a 7-inch rise in front of it so that your posture is in a certain way. So I have this rock that's just was just sort of suspended next to the toilet, in front of the toilet, and it was rocking a bit. It was getting so I decided, okay, it's time to address this situation and put some and use which to me is part of the excitement of working out here. Combine wood and rock and dirt and light and even sound all together to really to mix materials is very exciting to me. It always has. When I was in construction, I always like to use different materials. Let's say when I was building a deck, I like to use different kinds of materials. And I always like to build decks that were not fortress like, that led right into the property. And that's really what this house is all about. It's not about creating a fortress where you're safe from the elements. It's about being in this creative state. So I did this thing with the I cut out some wood to form a kind of a form around these rocks so that the rocks could be filled with dirt, which we later did. We filled it all with dirt so that the rocks are not moving back and forth all the time. And in the process, and this is because I have no plans to my building. We had this one really glorious window that's 4 feet wide by like 7 feet high, a huge window. And it's right, it could be part of the bathroom, but I'm jealous about it. And I'm like, I don't want that to be in the bathroom. So I made a kind of a triangular cutoff to so that the window will still be in the house, and the bathroom has its own windows, pretty cool windows. So I'm like, the bathroom has what it has. And then I later I said to Danielle, I said, that we have this little triangle between the bathroom and the rest of the house. That would be a perfect place to have a lemon tree or a grapefruit tree or a citrus tree that would be just coincidentally, if you believe in coincidences, it happens to be facing the western side of the house where it gets a lot of sun. And because we're in the mountains, the citrus doesn't do so well outside. It has to be it has to be guarded somewhat. So it'd be we thought, wow, what a cool little place for a tree. So we did our usual assortment of different tasks. And Daniela, she has her own things she does, and then she comes out and she helps me. And we it's we have this thing. And but at the end of the day, the other thing that I like to do besides meditating in the beginning of the day about what do I want to do, I like to at the end of the day, I like to look at what was accomplished and just kind of just say, wow, look, we did this today. So when I came to examine what we accomplished today, I saw that the bathroom had been I had put some wood frames around the flooring, and then we filled it in with dirt, so that was accomplished. I even swept off some of the dirt so that you could see the beautiful rocks. I noticed that Danielle and I had finished enclosing the garden. We had put some more boards up on the garden, and so that hopefully cows wouldn't, if there are wild cows that like to that sometimes come close. They're very shy, so they don't if we're around they don't show up. But it could be that when we leave they could come by and nose around. I wanted to make enough of a shell around the garden so that things will not be eaten. I won't come home to find things eaten. And by the way, we planted a plum tree closest to the house, so it's closest perhaps to the water supply. It started blooming. I don't think that's good. I don't think the tree should be blooming in February, but it out here we don't really get much of a frost. We're expecting a few cold days, but it's possible that the tree is just dandy. And at the end of the day, I did Daniela and I did start to put rafters up on the second floor. So that was kind of like the exciting part. We put in three ceiling joists or floor joists, and then we said, okay, let's take care of what we have to take care of. The reason I'm saying all this, besides just wanting to share with my friends what we're up to here, I'm gonna take this off. I want to inspire people. I'm hoping that people find their joy, find whatever it is that brings them joy, because it is not going to be healthy in the near future, in my opinion, to be glued to the thought streams and the news. Even though you and I are experienced rabbit hole dwellers, we've gone down all the rabbit holes. This is not a time, at least in this moment. I mean, some news could come out. The the chemtrails are really disturbing. They could drive you crazy. I don't know why that continues. I don't know why they don't just shut down DARPA. I don't know why they don't shut down, but the white hats I feel very comfortable that the white hats have the order of events well planned. And I also believe that they travel through time and they know exactly what they're doing, and they're catching the parasites with their worms exposed. The parasites are, as Q used to like to say, that these people are stupid. They're stupid. So I'm saying this because I was thinking to myself, what do I really want to talk about tonight? And this kind of flooded in the idea that we need to really, you and I, because of who we are, because of the fact that we got here early, we need to be ramping it up in terms of getting out of the matrix and heading for the promised land. We need to be firmly entrenched in investing in our health, in eating well, and doing the best we can, even given the chemtrails and all this other nonsense that they're doing to us. We need to be actively engaged in creating a new world because the old world is collapsing, and the sooner we escape the old and head into the new. Like for us, I mean, you may say, well, you're building a house that's kind of old fashioned. You could have a replicator build it. I like doing it. I'm just having a ball. The thought this morning when I was on my hands and knees, trying to get these wooden pieces to interact in a somewhat symmetrical way with the rocks, which is a very difficult thing. Your wood is basically cut straight, and the rocks are curvy, and so it took me like a half hour. I had to chisel this one piece of wood so that the weird faces on all the different rocks wouldn't, I could put it into place. But it's very engaging, and we did get at the end of the day to a point of putting in some rafters, which is very exciting. I just want people to understand the matrix is dying, just like what I saw on 9/11. And it's not for seeing. It's not to be watched. It's to be heard. It's to be understood. You understand what's going on. You don't need to spend all your time, or I don't need to spend so much time scrolling through X. But I do. I do it. And it's part of my idea of living a very primitive kind of nature-based life while having Starlink in our way, having solar panels, having all this communication, being able to broadcast. We all these things that we engage in communications. We had a charming discussion with one of our people that was investing in the Lifeway product. It was just, and she was telling me she liked this about the program, and she wasn't able to get on Rumble last night. I mean, I really enjoy interacting with people. I don't often get to have a conversation with people on this thought stream, to know what they're thinking, to know what works, what doesn't work. She said she kind of liked the daily details. She liked the familiarity. She felt like we were old friends, and we are. And we had a very nice conversation. But we need to keep moving forward. We can't be like Lot's wife. We will turn into pillars of salt. We will become bitter. We will become grumpy. It's enough. We know what's going on in the world. This is the great awakening, and we need to keep our eyes focused on that which brings us joy. Which, for me, I feel like I'm in kind of, I get to do what I want. I get to broadcast. I enjoy this very much, even though the part of me that is me before the broadcast and during the broadcast, it seems like it's a different, that we don't really have that much connection. I don't spend that much time thinking about the broadcast when I'm not broadcasting. As a consequence, the relationship between the me that's here and the me that's building in the house is not all that. We're not that close. We're like, okay, man, it's now we can do the broadcast thing, and it's just like a different person comes into my body, and I'm like, okay, but I just want to emphasize, and I want everyone to really understand that we are the creators. We are the ones. We are ISBE. That came from Mommy Wolverine. I did not know that. I've been hearing that term for years. ISBI. I got it from Majestic 12. I got it from Magic MAJICIs on Rumble. Carl from New Zealand. By building yourself, you're going to create a home that lasts 100 years, far beyond the 30-year disposable houses. Yeah, yeah. I'm making a legacy house. This house will be unlike any other house in the world. It's completely unique because it's what I want to build. But it's not for those I'm not building it because it's going to be a 100-year house. Yes, I think it will be. But on the other hand, I'm exploring building styles and techniques that we are not in touch with, because everything is done by this matrix book of what a house should be. You got a basement, you got your floor, it's a square, it's a rectangle, you got your bathroom here, you got your kitchen, you got we're not doing any of that. We're just building, and we're just what comes out of it. But the point really is that we all must be forging ahead, because the matrix is collapsing around us, and we need to, in my opinion, or at least I need to be constantly challenged, and by a new way of seeing things. 30 years of hunting deer, 30 years to take the biggest buck. Several times I was able to visualize the buck before it showed up. Native American technique. Interesting. That's very interesting. Time to just clock out, old man. Enjoy your final years. Your generation fucked us, and we have to live with it. Well, that's kind of an unpleasant thing to think. Um, I don't I kind of don't agree with that, but yeah, it's just it's people may believe that you may be a troll. I don't know, but d- that our generation messed you guys up. I don't know. I think this is a troll. At any rate, everyone's doing what we see. Everyone is doing their thing. We see what's coming. Okay, so Peppermint Patty, I'm glad to hear you say that. You were able to supply your. Were you able to resupply your food? In terms of the buck. You were talking about the buck. It was an obvious message and showing off a boot. Yeah, by building it. Okay, so all right. Anyway, so I guess I mean let's just look at a few moments of the thought stream, because that's all I really have to say. Is it's time to build a republic. Republicforusa.org. Definitely join. Definitely, I would recommend you volunteer, get involved in establishing a local government, and find whatever floats your boat. Get out of the matrix. Just find another way. Find a way that resonates with truth and authenticity, to be your authentic self. My small farm used to get covered black with migrating geese. None this year. Well, that's a good thing. Migrating geese can be quite messy. Yeah. Bondi is an actor in the movie. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. I don't. I just don't. I'm just. I'm not saying that she is or isn't. I'm just saying I don't really. I don't find it that compelling to spend my time thinking about what trying to figure it out. I just don't. I just. I really don't care at this point. I see where it's going. My brother's ex-wife died yesterday after inheriting a fortune last year. Oy. Interesting. We did not screw any generation over. We were working hard and humming along, and they were lying to us. Thank you. Thank you. We did not screw any jet. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know that Bondi's a big, but it's all. Apparently, they were saying that the amount of information about the Epstein file is just the tip of the iceberg. That there's much more to come. All right, let's just go to the thought stream for a few minutes. I'm just going to see what I picked out, and maybe even go to. Let's see. Yeah, let's just go here for a moment. Okay, so I can scroll now. The people calling you extremists are eating babies, right? The children, the this is getting a lot of attention. The children under the Getty Museum, the bunker under the Getty Museum is the crown jewel of the dumb system. It functions like a modern city, Noah's Ark for the dark humans that control the planet when the planned catastrophe. Okay, I don't want to get too into that. This is interesting. The obelisk in your city is the symbol of Baal. It means your country has already been taken over to serve Baal. But the reason I put this up is to remind people that when the Washington Monument goes down, if it does, and I remember they used to talk about the 34 satanic sites that have to go down, that perhaps people will be able to understand that it wasn't just a big historical monument, it was a satanic uh, ceremonial place. All right, so there's a lot of this. I mean, Peter Thiel invests in Ambrosia, a company that steals blood from, I mean, all this stuff is a little bit. This I love. I use this as my thumbnail. We're going to need more popcorn this week. The Matrix is laughing at you. Yeah, I guess. This is a great post. The gift of mental power comes from the divine. And if we concentrate our minds on that truth, we become in tune with this great power. From Nikola Tesla. I think that's a brilliant thing. Yeah, the CIA pizza and all this stuff. The dumbs. How does child trafficking go unnoticed? The dumbs, deep underground military bases. Meanwhile, at the Winter Festival in Ontario, deportations. So everyone's getting with it. The Great Awakening. I withdraw my consent to be governed by any corrupt, compromised, belligerent criminal parliament or government. I will not comply. Fake people, fake food, all this. I mean, it could get you down. This was a very interesting post, and I highly recommend this from SG Anon, a Masonic lodge in every district and upon every land on the planet. The plan it. This is a very, very interesting explanation of how the Illuminati, how the Freemasons work. But it hasn't. Why hasn't Donald Trump banned geoengineering yet? At first, he thought Grover was crazy, but as Grover's lecture went on, Bert steadily came to realize that Luciferian pedophiles controlled the world as a shadow government operating in the most successful organized crime syndicate in human history. Indeed, indeed. I don't want to go. Yeah, and it just gets it. This is interesting that Tartaria revealed, Putin unleashes the Forbidden Empire. The world just changed forever. Russian President Vladimir Putin has declassified explosive Tartarian archives, unearthing a colossal empire that was systematically erased from global memory. The moment this happened, this is very interesting. The moment this happened, I can't click on it. Okay. If you don't know that they control both the narrative and the counter narrative, you are not yet awake. The war has started. Fighter jets have entered Iran. Something big may happen soon. Humans are designed to create. This is why you get depressed when all you do is consume. Most humans are not capable of understanding the level of evil we're dealing with. This is interesting. It's a sad state of affairs when it's the judges who need hanging. So that's just a quick smattering of some of the stories. I also want to go now quickly to the general thought stream. This is not what I've seen. This is just what's coming out now. Um, though there are more posts. Wait, stop sharing. Let's go to this. Okay, so now we'll go to here. Okay, so let's just look at the most recent posts. We told you it's coming. Prepare. When friends, it's all burning down. Okay. The geoengineering, the Great Awakening. We are using our collective consciousness to manifest the optimal timeline reality for Earth. Being hated by fools is the price you pay for refusing to be one of them. The Roman power pyramid, Annans right now. Yes. It's time, right? War correspondent. The same Yale professor who got wounded by a Unabomber attack wrote to Epstein about a small, good-looking blonde. Okay, so this is it's just more. Excuse me, but have you seen my laptop? All right, so anyway, it's never forget the people who were tied to hospital beds and murdered with ventilators. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I think this kind of supports my general idea that sometimes you need to look away, and this could be the time. You don't need to be so strong in the hate. Ease up, dude. Catholic. Um, yeah. But yeah, okay. So right, we don't. Yeah, we need to be easy with each other. We need to be easy with ourselves. We need to really find ways we like to spend time that are productive and creating things and building things and or studying things that are more positive. For example, okay, I'm just going to say this. I One of the people in the Republic is a former park ranger and just an amazing person, amazing, just a very interesting person. But I asked him, I said, at what point would it pay to to um, to harvest silver from the rocks out here? And he said when silver's about 150 an ounce, it probably would pay, meaning that it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to extract silver from rocks. All good things take work. It could be that we'll end up spending more time producing fruit. I don't know how it's going to work out, but it is working out, and it is fun. I'm having a ball. I'm not saying you're wrong. You just need to realize that God is good and nothing too bad will befall you. Just tune into your higher self for guidance. Yeah, they unalived my dad in 6 days. Yeah, I know. It was horrific. Disclosure occurs. Someone needs to tell Gene Decode that none of his tunnels would be possible on a globe of any kind. I'm not sure what you mean, Randall, but at, at, I'm at the helm of the baby boomers, and thousands of us 65 and up were able to stand up against the multi generational evil. They unalived my dad. Yeah, they unalived my dad even before that with their medicines. Yeah, it's definitely going to work out. There's no we're not worried about that. We just want to be focused on moving forward. So I apologize. I feel like this is kind of not a very exciting video. I don't really have anything that seems to be cutting edge in that way. I do want to remind my peeps that uh, wait, let me do that. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. That if you're interested in, wait a minute, I don't want, I can't stand that when they make it all scrolly like that. Um, yeah, I like it when it holds still. But if you're interested in these patches, I can show my chest. Apparently, somebody accused me of wanting to bare my chest all the time. It's just that these patches are really amazing. Like I said, I'm now officially 71. I have bragging rights. I can say I'm 71, and I work like a dog out there. I'm schlepping big, heavy logs around and lifting up rafters and doing all kinds of cool stuff. And I think a lot of it's really a result of using the X39, X49 glutathione. And recently I started using the Eon patch, AEON patch, which helps me. I do experience pain from working. And the Eon and the X39 and the X49 really seem to reduce the pain. So if you're interested in getting an upgrade in your health, in my opinion, it's a tremendous upgrade. It's not a quick fix necessarily. Some people like my Daniela feels the patches right away, but for me it took a couple of years to really understand the changes that have taken place as a result of taking these patches. And remember, they put nothing in your body. They simply use your own light. They reflect your own light. And this was the inventor was working for the Navy SEALs when he came up with the energy patch. Since then, he's come up with a bunch of really cool patches, and the patches shine the light back into you. So I would recommend you call Dr. Stacy and ask her the best way to join. If you want to sign up under me or under Daniela, you could go right to the website. I encourage you to sign up as a brand partner. Instead of going to shop, go to join. You just get better discounts, and you'll have an all around, in my opinion, better experience. But this technology, this light technology that puts nothing in your body, it's non-transdermal. That's the official way of explaining that. Is a great technology and will, for me, it's really made my life a lot more pleasant. The first thing we do is basically put these patches on. I have another technology that we're involved with, but I don't really want to speak about it on this channel. I will talk about it on the lifestyle channel on Thursday. We've already begun discussing it a bit, but for me, the meat and potatoes of my good health is the LifeWave patches. So we encourage you to get a hold of Dr. Stacy. If you're on Rumble and you can't see this, her number is 812-455-6897. Again, Dr. Stacy. You can text her at 812-455-6897. Text her or call her, and she will get back to you and help you get some of these amazing patches that the medical community has. I mean, they're too busy trying to make you sick to deal with this kind of technology. Anyway, let's go to the tune and just remind everyone to enjoy these days, the final days of the Matrix, the destruction of the parasites, and the reinstatement of something that I suspect will be somewhat Tartarian. We'll have free energy. We're going to have med beds and all kinds of cool things, debt forgiveness, lots of money, and all the things you need to create whatever it is you like to create. Maybe you like to fix old cars. I mean, here in Arizona, cars don't rust so easily. So I'm constantly seeing these old trucks. I'm just like, wow, man, that's a beauty. So maybe, I don't think that's in my future, but I'm really more into. I really want to focus on growing at this point, growing my fruit trees and maybe investing in nut trees. I've heard about this red walnut. Sounds very appealing. But to use my land for growing, perhaps we'll do animals at some point. But anyway, let's just keep moving forward. Do not look back. Do not be like Lot's wife. Be like Noxian. Just keep going. All right, let's go for the tune. Oh, I forgot that I have a new system has to be adhered to. Let's go. Here we go.
Living in the city, I was paying down my bills. One flat tire, and the whole thing went to hell. Credit cards for groceries, I'm deep in debt again. It's time to split this scene, walk with you, my friend. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land. Stopped paying taxes, your insurance I don't need. The medicines are killing us, hospitals grow like weeds. Moved into paradise, I don't need no gassy cars. Fake news, endless wars, a satanic legal bar. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. My friends all tell me I lost control. Left my wife and job just to run down rabbit holes. But I can tell you one thing about my fall. Where we go one, we go all. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. They stole our money, but they couldn't stop the plan. Let's go together, playing with the band. Leaving the matrix, heading for the promised land. Leaving the matrix, we're heading for the promised land.
Yeah, sorry about it not being on Rumble. I thought it says up here that I am on Rumble, but now I'm hearing that I'm not on Rumble. I don't know what's going on. There's some kind of like, I've had this problem with Restream since I started with them. They do not, for some reason, they do not align with Rumble. I don't know what their problem is, but maybe it's a political thing. I don't know what's wrong with Restream, but I've had this problem with them. I quit Restream last time, and I started broadcasting on Rumble Studio. That I like Restream a lot better, but if I don't know why you can't get it together. I'm trying. I'm working on it anyway. I'm aware of it. Let's but I like this post from Wendy. I think your point to detach is divinely timed. Yeah, I cannot relive all the info I've already processed, right? And it keeps me sick sometimes for weeks. Detachment and then those who need comfort. Yeah, I agree with you, Wendy. I think I think this video was just for me. I can't get involved. Now, on the other hand, XRP and the cryptos that we love are making a little bit of a turnaround. So let's just hope it happens. It'll happen as it happens. I don't expect any. I do not. I'm not an EBS person. I just don't think that that's the way it's going to go down. I think this has to be that everything has to be understood, not seen, that people have to understand what's been going on. And that I think the information that's coming out, they will be forced to understand. Rumble's having issues, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I feel bad that because I really love Rumble because Rumble has been good to me from day one. They never ever took down a video and never gave me a hard time. So I have like thousands of videos on Rumble just from the beginning. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's a changing world, and the structures are changing fast. So just know that you are the force. That when I say the force be with you, meaning you got this. We got this. We don't have to. We don't just spend our time going through this the Jeffrey Epstein, what's really going on. We know what's going on. We know what's been going on. And I, for one, have to take a little break sometime. But I'm very blessed that I have this kind of occupation where I can, I'm developing my own real estate. I don't know where it's going to head. I don't know where this is heading. Will I have to sell it? I don't know. But I'm really enjoying building. I really want to design a building that suits me, that doesn't separate me from the natural world. It's so beautiful here. Wait till you see what it looks like from the second floor. It is stunning. But I don't think like, whoa, I'm gonna, 5%, I'll make 10%. I don't think in those terms. I'm just enjoying the time here with Danielle and with nature, and trying to establish a dwelling place for the divine. And will this turn into a teaching place? I don't know. Maybe we'll teach people about how to live off grid and how to do carpentry. I don't know where this is going, and I don't. It doesn't matter to me. It's something that I'm really enjoying, and I hope that everybody here is working towards finding things besides their matrix jobs that bring them joy. And like I said, it's better to create than just to consume. So may source be with you. May you realize that you are a creative source and nothing can stop what's coming. It's really up to us to create a new world for each and every one of us. So I hope I had some reason for being on tonight. I just feel like there wasn't something colossal going on. We don't have to figure things out right now. We just have to be calm, be there for others, and head for the promised land. So let's get out there with a big smile on our face and rock.